The human mind doesn't forget anything. Everything that's ever happened to us is stored in our memory, and it's stored with feelings, and that's a permanent part of our psychic structure. It's not going to change. Like my first day in kindergarten, and I go into kindergarten, and there's this huge teacher who's red in the face and angry and ranting and raving and so on. Her name is Mrs. Balcom. That's how much I remember. So we're sitting there in these little chairs that you sit in kindergarten, and the guy next to me is Tony Bernardo. And so everybody's scared shitless. And Tony takes it one step further and shits in his pants. And this lady grabs him and grabs the chair. There's a turd in the chair. And she holds it up and she says, "And who does he think is going to clean this up?" And she's furious. Now, when I tell that story, I can still feel the fear. The fear is still there. At the time, I didn't know I was feeling fear. It didn't have a name. It was just like, she became very dangerous. You wanted to get the hell out of there. Telling the story over time, you identify the feeling. It's fear, you see, and there's words for fear, and you can talk about fear. And so, in a sense, it's like, you don't have to be afraid of fear. It's just a feeling. Encouraging people to listen to the way they talk is so critical, because that's an emotional signal. For instance, if I'm sitting here now and this inner dialogue I'm saying, like, "Wow, Bulette, you're nothing but a fat, worthless piece of shit." Well, it's good that I listen to that, because if it's a signal about a feeling, I can say, "Oh my God, I'm calling myself worthless. What the heck is going on? What do I feel?" Well, I guess I feel guilty. What do I feel guilty about? Then you think, well, what do I feel guilty about? Well, second grade, I used to pick my nose and wipe it under the seat. Is that what I feel guilty about? In other words, you can see that that's beginning to process it as a feeling, as opposed to making harsh judgments about myself, which if I'm not listening, I'm defining myself in those negative terms. That inner dialogue that everybody has, that most people don't listen to, is a signal about emotions. Certain of the signals are going to be very frightening, and they're not going to be recognized as part of the self or part of my own mental function. Many times it's kind of like seen as voodoo, or somebody is imposing this on me. And that's a major configuration in a whole series of human suffering. People don't listen to the way they talk. They're very critical, harshly judgmental, and they never realize that that's a feeling, and so they act it out. And so not only do I think I'm this kind of creature, but I'm going to project that into the environment. I'm going to think everybody else thinks the same thing. So if we don't have access to how we feel, we're very vulnerable, because it's so incredibly important to your well-being to always be listening to the way you talk to yourself, because that means you're always in touch with how you feel.